Hey reseller friends, I'm Erin, product specialist at Vendoo, and today we're here to talk about Etsy versus Shopify, the pros and cons of selling on each platform. But before we do, let me invite you to subscribe to our channel. We publish content all the time, and it's all related to reseller tips, Vendoo product updates, and information about how to scale and grow your resale business. Etsy and Shopify are great marketplaces to consider as you grow and scale your business, especially if you make your own products or you have your own brand. In this video, we'll talk about Etsy versus Shopify, including audience, what you can sell, best sellers, creating an account, how to manage your account, returns, shipping, fees, and of course, extra tips and tricks. First, let's talk about audience. If you're considering these platforms, here's some perspective about how many users are on each. Etsy is a super popular selling marketplace that reports 96.3 million active buyers all around the world. Shopify, similarly, is a leading e-commerce platform with over 500 million annual buyers and actually holding a 23% market share of e-commerce in the United States. That's huge. As a disclaimer, Shopify is unlike all of the other marketplaces. It's a super unique selling experience that is really a tool that provides users the tools to make their own e-commerce reselling website. So unlike the other platforms like Etsy per se, that you go on Etsy's app and you look in Etsy search form and you see Etsy sellers, Shopify is very different. Users don't shop on Shopify the way they shop on Etsy. They're actually shopping on your own website that's powered by Shopify. So if you're talking about the largest built-in audience, the answer is Etsy, because you have to create your own Shopify audience, but they do provide you with all of the tools to do that successfully. So let's talk about what you can sell. On Etsy, you can sell three things: handmade items, vintage fashion, and craft supplies. It's a fairly limited category base. However, the users and shoppers are very niched to these categories, which makes it an excellent place to sell them. Handmade items are the top seller on Etsy, and those are goods that are made by the seller, ranging from clothing to decor to everything in between, including digital downloads. Vintage items on Etsy are those that are at least 20 years old for which you can prove authentication of age. And they're very strict about that. So make sure that your vintage is vintage, at least 20 years old. And craft supplies are tools and materials used to make crafts, but they include party supplies as well on Etsy. And on Shopify, you can sell literally anything. That's legal and within reason. But you can create your own custom website to sell your own custom inventory of any type. In addition to any physical inventory, you can also sell intangible products and services, such as downloadables, lessons, courses, and more. Let's talk about how to get started selling on either. Both of these platforms have a couple barriers rather than just getting your listings up super quick. Although you can on Etsy create an account in just a few seconds. You will have to enter your payment information to get listing because Etsy does charge per listing, but we'll talk about that when we talk about fees. Once you have an Etsy account in just a few moments, listing is super straightforward. You can upload 10 photos, and they do allow listing videos. You type in a description, select a few drop-down boxes based on the category of your item, which have specifics such as size, material, color, occasion, the general fields on every form. On each Etsy listing form, you'll enter your handling time, shipping information, and also whether you would like your listing to auto-renew or manually renew. And again, you'll be mindful of the fact that you are paying per listing. Don't worry, it's only 20 cents. Shopify is a little bit more complicated, but Shopify offers a 14-day free trial. So definitely test that out because you do need a Shopify subscription to sell on Shopify. You can explore the platform and you can start selling without committing to a monthly plan and explore to see which monthly plan might work best for you to sell. Once your shop is open and you've gone through some of the administrative tasks to accomplish that, you can get started with their standard listing form, which is similar to what you'd expect everywhere else. It allows for photos, a description, several drop downs, all of which are pretty optional because you are in control of your Shopify website. You make what you want of the listing fields. But of course, remember that Etsy and Shopify are both Vendoo platforms, so you can use the Vendoo app or mobile website to list to both of them very quickly. So once your listings are listed and they hopefully sell, we can talk about shipping. On both Etsy and Shopify, you as the seller are super in control with how you would like to ship, and you have many, many shipping options. On Etsy, again, you are in control of your shipping time, your handling time and cost, your geographical limitations, taxing, and shipping carriers, including FedEx, USPS, or UPS. For users in the United States, you can pay for and print automatically generated USPS labels right from Etsy if you opt to ship with Etsy. Otherwise, you can ship on your own and just provide Etsy and your buyers with the tracking information. Shopify has a trillion options. We could create a video all about that. And maybe we will. But on Shopify, you can establish your preferences as well. You can choose to ship on your own by creating your own label and using any shipping carrier you'd like, perhaps using a service like Pirate Ship to determine the cheapest option or the option that makes the most sense for you in your workflow. And Shopify also does provide you with many options for shipping with third-party carriers, and they enjoy a special discount through the Shopify portal. Let's talk about the money, the fees. Neither Etsy nor Shopify have a straightforward percent of fees that I can provide to you. Both require that sellers pay to play. While some platforms do not charge fees until a sale, Etsy and Shopify both charge small fees up front, as well as at the sale. Okay, so for Etsy, as a super rough estimate that's on the safer side, you can consider that the fees will be approximately 12%. But let's break it down. Etsy has a kind of complicated fee structure. There is a listing cost, a transaction fee, a payment processing fee, and then there are optional promotional fees. So Etsy's listing cost is 20 cents per listing, which automatically renews and charges every 4 months by default, but you can disable that. So 20 cents to get the listing up. After sale, Etsy transactions fee is basically the seller's fee, and that's a 6.5% fee of the sale price. So 20 cents to list it, 6.5% of sale price. And then there's one more. Etsy uses Square for payment processing. So all of your sales are also subject to the Square fee. And the Square fee ranges based upon so many variables, but the most common Square fees are all under 4%. So when you combine the listing cost with the transaction fee and the Square fee, you're looking around 12%. And there are many other optional promotion fees. You can do on-site ads, off-site ads, and many other ads. We will link below our video all about Etsy to learn about some of those promotional charges. But the basic rule when you're sourcing or making your items to consider is roughly 12. Shopify fees are a little simpler to follow, but still not definitely and easily ascertained. Currently, Shopify Basic subscription, which is the lowest subscription, the most common one that you might consider, is $29 per month. And then after that, it's a fee of 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction. However, again, there are ads that can contribute to this, the different types of payments you accept. If you're accepting payments from third parties, such as PayPal, you're subject to additional fees as well. So roughly $30 a month and roughly 3.5% at sale of each item. Remember that the fees also depend on your Shopify subscription. So we'll also link below the different Shopify subscription types so you can learn about plans and pricing to determine which one would work best for you and more easily ascertain what it will cost you and what your profit will be on the items that you sell. All right, so managing your marketplaces. How do you successfully sell on Etsy and Shopify? What is required? Well, they both have tons of tools and features to provide sellers with opportunities to grow and scale, and of course, make more sales. Etsy provides so many tools. They have Etsy ads, Etsy campaigns, offsite ads, coupons, and sales. Etsy ads promote your listings in the Etsy search results right within Etsy. For a wider reach, you might consider offsite ads, which promote Etsy listings on major search engines and other partnering websites. Etsy also gives you the ability to offer coupons and sales to encourage purchases, particularly after users have expressed interest in your items. Learn all about that in our detailed blog about how Etsy works. If you're looking to learn more about how to be successful on Shopify, I've never seen a reselling platform with more resources available. Shopify's Help Center has so many articles, videos, tools, free resources, paid resources, and everything you could ever need to build, create, manage, and be successful with your own e-commerce website. But remember, Shopify does not have a built-in audience. Selling on Shopify is just like selling on your own website. You will be required to do your own marketing and bring customers to your store. And there's so many ways to do that. Right on your own social medias, through paid ads, through collaborations, and so much more. Shopify provides you with these tools and resources to help drive the traffic and sales. It has tools to improve your content, your marketing, your search engine optimization, and the ability to create and run advertising campaigns that can all be found in the settings, and they're all available in the free trial so you can see if that works for you and what exactly will be entailed based on your website. Returns. How do returns work on Etsy and on Shopify? Okay, so as a disclaimer, Etsy is its own entity and its own app. So Etsy does oversee customer service and customer disputes, which is why you pay Etsy the fees that you do. Shopify is a little bit different. You do pay for your Shopify store, but that just gives you the store, the website creation, and the platform. You, as your own business owner, are responsible for your own customer service and handling your own customer disputes and returns in consideration of ethics, practicality, and the law. So you'll have to keep that in mind as well. We'll start with Etsy. The Etsy return policy allows you to establish your own policies regarding if you will accept returns and give refunds. That includes if you accept them, the return time period, and who is responsible for the shipping cost to send the item back. However, your policies don't matter as much as Etsy cares about customer service because buyers can go right through Etsy. They are able to open a case on Etsy if they have first attempted to resolve the issue with you, allowed 48 hours for your response, and if you are unable to respond and make a deal, there is an irreconcilable dispute between you and the seller, then they can go through the formal case process. Etsy support generally does not allow for returns unless there's a non-delivery or the item is not as described. And that is very common on all platforms, but it's also fairly common for the platforms to favor the buyer because they are a business. So be mindful and feel free, especially with your ornate handmade items that take many hours of work, to confirm via photos your products with your buyers and to retain proof of the final product as well as the shipment to protect yourself in the case of a dispute. Also remember that when buyers pay, and this is true of both platforms, when buyers pay with other third-party payment processors like PayPal, buyers also receive heightened protection from the actual payment processor. So a lot of places like Etsy, for example, a buyer will have Etsy protection as well as PayPal protection in the event of a dispute. And like I said, on Shopify, you are totally in control. You as the seller establish your own store policies regarding returns and refunds. If a buyer's not happy with their purchase, they do not have an official customer service to open a case or file a claim with. Instead, they must contact you, and you are responsible for the transaction as the merchant. Of course, Shopify provides sellers with tools and resources to help you handle disputes and returns. But in the event of an irreconcilable dispute between the buyer and the seller, the buyer must pursue their own recourse, kind of themselves. This might be with their payment processor, with their bank, or even legally. Just remember that returns are a part of business and they don't happen as often as you think. They're fairly uncommon. Most people that are purchasing the item really do want the item. So taking on this role as a merchant on Shopify requires that you are diligent, patient, and professional in dealing with these disputes. So Etsy versus Shopify, which is better? It really all depends. I think that they're both great marketplaces to scale and grow your reselling business. Neither is better than the other, but in consideration of all of what we discussed, maybe one will be better for your business. You really don't have to choose just one though. You can use Vendoo to cross-list your items to both Etsy and Shopify with just a few clicks and start making sales everywhere. Have you sold on Etsy and or Shopify? Tell us about your experience below. And please, reseller friends, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.